Donna and Kate and Michelle. And again, thank you all for being here. And with no further ado, I'd like to pass the microphone over to Andy, Dave, and Martin, otherwise known as Depeche Mode. Thank you.
I'd just like to say a few words. We're very proud of our new album. We think it's one of our best albums that we've made. I think the good thing is we've actually had a very enjoyable time making the album. In fact, it's been a very enjoyable time over the last 3 or 4 years since the singles tour and making it Exciter. So we're actually very pleased to go on tour, and we're very pleased to be in Germany again to announce a world tour. So if anyone's got any questions, please. Okay, see you then.
Can you tell us something about your new songs in your own words, please?
I think it's quite different sounding. We worked with a different producer for the first time, someone called Mark Bell, who's probably most famous for the work he's done over the last couple of records with York. So I think he's really added something different to our sound. There's about 13 tracks on the album, 11 songs, 2 short instrumental pieces.
What did Mark Bell add to your record in relation to co-producers?
I think I really felt this time it was more like a collaboration, really, because he was far more hands-on. He wasn't really a conceptualist. He would actually physically go to samplers, go to synths and work on sounds and add to the demos. I mean, he was really important like that.
One of you said in the interview that they worked on the vocals as well as on the instruments. How did you work on the vocals? Well, Mark, sees the voice as just another instrument, and he just, was very encouraging with me to sort of just sing as I wanted to, and not to try too hard. And also, right early on, he told me that with York, she continually sings throughout the making of the album. Rather than like you put all the song together and then the final thing you put the vocals on top. I was basically singing from sort of day one, and I would work in a different room to the guys and just keep singing, and like I was rehearsing the songs like for a tour or something. So it enabled me to like find a place that was somehow a little bit deeper than before, and to relax and stop trying so hard. So on some tracks that really worked. Sorry? For me, the sort of more personal sort of stuff, like When the Body Speaks, Good Night Lovers, I like that. And also to sort of, I had fun doing Dead of Night, and sort of drawing on all my influences, whether it's like David Bowie or Iggy Pop or Dave Gahan too.
Question to Mr. Gordon. Where do you get the inspiration, and could you describe the process of making the songs?
Well, at the demo stage. At the demo stage, you mean?
Wenn sie schreibt.
Yes. Where do you get the inspiration for the songs?
I know you're right about things that go on around me, so I think the majority of my songs are about relationships, really, and about love and lust, because they're the things that I can feel I can write about with any sort of integrity these days. So a lot of the songs on this album are love songs, but I still like to think that they have a bit more depth to them than that. But they're, somehow touching on other themes, just that they do have some depth to them.
Do you understand?
If you could please, when you ask your questions, could you please ask them a bit louder so that the rest of the room also gets the questions? That would be nice. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
What do you think about the Napster thing? Even Exciter is now available on Napster. What do you think about this?
we've had this question a lot in America and in Europe over the last few weeks, and it's quite interesting really, because I think in some ways Napster is actually fulfilling a role, filling a void that wasn't there before. And we have radio stations playing a limited number of songs, and record shops even these days not stocking many records. It's the only way that some kids can actually access new music or music of artists that they can't get hold of or hear. And obviously the copyright situation has to be solved, and also for us it's slightly disappointing that our album's been leaked on an Napster, because we come from a generation where, you know, the first day of release we'd run down to our local record shop and buy our favourite artist, and it's a slight disappointment, the fact that already the album's been out two months beforehand, you know, even the sleeve, the lyrics. But I think we just got to get used to the fact that the world has changed, and it's going to change a lot more.
Can I just add something to
Yeah.
that? And also, my quote is, you know, it's actually mine, I nicked it, but if you're not being bootlegged, you're not happening. So,
Will the new album Exciter be more uplifting than Ultra, which was quite gloomy?
I don't know, what do you think?
I think we actually think all our albums are gloomy. You know, there'll be some darker issues, but we find it very uplifting, and we find this one more uplifting than Ultra. We didn't find Ultra that gloomy.
And we really like having a positive title with Ultra, because we do have this misconception that we're gloomy, and we wanted to carry on with that this time with Exciter, try and make the world believe we're not gloomy.
As you're planning this world tour, do you think some material is needed to reproduce on stage?
Well, we haven't started rehearsing yet, but you know, we probably do 5 or 6 songs from the new album, and we won't really find that out until we start rehearsing. But I don't think so. You know, I think some of the sort of quieter, more intimate stuff might be interesting to try. You know, doesn't necessarily have to be exactly as it is on the album. You know, maybe we'll try some different things, breaking it down even more. For instance, when Martin sings, you know, maybe he'll do something more acoustic with the songs that he chooses, and maybe we'll do that together with other things as well. Like, for instance, When the Body Speaks, when we recorded that, initially the first sort of atmosphere that was set for the album was basically Martin playing guitar and me singing, and Mark got us to perform that in the studio, and there was some magic there happening, and sort of we built the atmosphere around that. I think that could work as well live.
Can you tell what was the most exciting thing for you working on that album?
This is only me speaking. For me, the most exciting thing is actually 3 of us and the other people in the studio actually enjoying ourselves, and it seemed a bit like, you know, 1982, 83 again. You know, the sort of enjoyment level, and has really good memories for me. I mean, I know that's not an actual thing about the music and stuff, but that's what I found most rewarding.
I think it was really an adventure as well, because we travelled around to 3 different places to make it. We were over in California for a while, we were in New York for a while, and we were in London for a while. And it's just, you know, it's just interesting just to move around different places and get different influences coming in. They just made it more fun, really.
Who are the musicians you work with on tour? The same guys on the last tour?
Yeah.
What can we expect of live shows and special things on the tour?
Okay. Well, yeah, we're working with the same musicians. We basically have the same band, and which is good because we really enjoyed that on the singles tour. It was kind of it was like new life in all the songs as well. It was kind of different performing those songs. Anton Corbin is involved in the set and line design, as he was on the last tour and on the Songs of Faith and Devotion tour. He's already formulated some ideas. There will be some film, and we haven't seen anything finished or completed yet, but we're working on that at the moment. So.
how do you decide which songs to play on tour?
So we get back, we play.
It's quite difficult. You know,
You can play all of them. Also.
well, we've been playing for like 12 hours. I
We've
think.
got a list. We asked New Records to send us a list of all our songs, you know, so we could go through and tick them off, you know, which ones. We had like a voting, it'd be like the Eurovision Song Contest between the three of us. And unfortunately, they gave us a list of 190 songs, you know, it's, we had to whistle that down to about 18 or 19, so it's unfortunately a lot of fans' favourites have been kicked out, and a lot of our favourites have been kicked out as well, because we just can't play for that long.
Every, you know, with this album as well, we want to complement the songs that we will be playing that are new, and so it will be different to the singles tour because you know there are certain songs that just kind of won't fit. That when you're performing them with the new atmospheres and stuff, it kind of feels a bit phony. It's not that we don't like those songs or anything; it just doesn't feel right anymore. But I think we're going back as far as Music for the Masses, probably.
Black Celebration, I believe.
Yeah. Black Celebration? Yeah, Black Celebration. So we're going quite far back.
It's a nice thing to spell.
No, that's taking it too far.
About the writing process, does Martin about Dave will sing the songs so that do you write personally about yourself or about sometimes Dave Gans, what you would think about or what you feel about something?
I really find that journalists really get hung up on the fact that I write the songs and Dave sings them. I get asked this question all the time, and I write for me, you know. When I do the demos, I always sing them, and then it's just natural for Dave to then, when we get to the studio, to take on the songs that suit his voice, and really it's as simple as that.
Could you answer to that?
I think, for me, when I'm singing Martin's songs as well, I don't sit down and try and analyse the lyrics or I don't try and think about too much where it comes from Martin. I do in some way think that, there's some kind of, he's like my soul brother somehow. And, I do really believe that there's a sort of higher purpose to us working together. But, I like the idea that as well, the same as Martin does as well. I think that, it's what it makes you feel like. And I think that's why our appeal has lasted so long as well. It's, I try and portray in my voice what it's doing to me emotionally, and to the best of my ability, complement that, but leave it open as well, so that you can really have your own feelings about it. It's not necessarily exactly what the lyrics are telling you, or love is a very wide spectrum, and it can be a rough journey and it can be a beautiful journey, but it's everything. It's all those things.
And so the voice you're using on the song comes instinctively, or it's about the music or about the lyrics? You're changing your voice on any song, in fact.
No, it's not particularly about any of those things. It's just I try and find something from within me that feels comfortable. And when I find that, I don't question it too much. It just feels right. And usually what would happen is once I got to that place with a song, I would then get very excited and burn a CD of it and take it into Martin Fletch and
Put it on Napster.
Test it out, see if the fans like it. And then they would put my voice into the work that they're doing, and sometimes then we would see whether it was good or not, whether it was working.
How did you like the Rammstein version of Let Me Sue Stripped Down to the Bone?
It's called Stripped. It was good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
The whole of that album was, it was just an honour for us to hear all those different bands recording our songs. But that one was quite good. There were quite a few others that were good in different ways.
Any questions on foot and mouth?
You seem to enjoy yourself today, so are you not on the edge anymore?
Could you speak up a little?
You seem to enjoy yourself today as a band. Are you not on the edge anymore?
I think we're
On the edge.
it's a learning process. You know, you're never off the edge.
We can go to the edge, but it's important not to jump off.
Living around for 20 years, do you sometimes wonder why do people still like your music, still follow you, still like hardcore fans around? It's odd, isn't it?
It doesn't, we try and put everything we have into what we're doing at the time, and, I think people pick up on that. I think it's very human what we do, and it feels real, it feels vulnerable, it feels like life. So, I think that's got something to do with it. I think people relate to that.
I think
As we get older, I'm sorry.
I just think, I've been saying recently, it does seem like a one big long dream, and I think perhaps one of the reasons we are still around because it was never our game plan in the beginning, to be in Hamburg at a press conference in the year 2001, with a new tour and a new record. But I think we've taken that sort of attitude right from the beginning, and somehow we've done it. It is like a bit of a dream. You think I'm going to wake up, I'm on the train to go to work, But,
As we get older, we haven't been in the limelight now for 2.5 years since the last tour. And I find it stranger every single time we put a record out, and wherever we go, we're followed by these obsessive fans. I mean, they are so obsessive, and it's a real sort of compliment. But I don't know, as you get older, maybe at 60, I wonder if they'll still be there. Because they're not much younger than us. So they're going to grannies following us.
We do have, in the hotel, there's a couple of fans that have their baby with them. And there was another couple of fans that told me that they wanted to come and they had children and their children are at home with babysitters and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's like this little baby was already wearing black. It's a bit worrying.
also, someone asked us, me and Martin the other day, said, will you be making another 10 albums? And we worked out our current rate would be 85. But then our record boss in France said that he's got an artist at the moment that's 82 that's really popular at the moment, so perhaps you never know. The Zero Brain tour.
Even though you know that you still have many fans, it's still exciting to release a record in the sense that you don't really know how people are going to react.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, it still feels, for me personally, even more so than ever before, that we're just beginning again or something. I don't know, it's just, still just as sort of anxious, and this period especially is quite hard because we've finished, and like Fletch said, we're really happy with the work that we've done, and we know we've done our best where we are right now. And so we're kind of in limbo at the moment before we start a tour and stuff like that. But
the record's already released.
But yeah, the record's already out. So.
The first single will be Dream On. So what are the dreams you still have?
Actually, I had a nightmare last night. The honest truth, I had this nightmare. I died 7 times. So I think that was indicative of what I'm about to come to today. But I mean, it was a terrible nightmare. So that's the sort of dreams I had. I know you didn't mean that, but.
After so much dreams do we have? I don't know. I think maybe one of the reasons we're still around is we never really had dreams and ambitions as a band. Our greatest goal when we first started was to release one single, and we're still here 20 years later.
And personal things you still want to achieve? Because I guess music-wise you've achieved everything you can.
I don't think so. I think that it's only stops when you want it to. I think if we start to rely or to expect things to happen for us, then they probably won't. And we still have that enthusiasm to work together. And what I learned on this album was that there's still a common bond that there's something that happens that's much bigger than any of us individually. When we there's certain times in the studio when we're working and when we're performing that I feel that it's not really about anyone individually. It's just something that happens. So while that's you still feel like doing that, why not carry on? But we've finished this album now. We never, we're not like thinking about what we're doing next.
The video for the facility, you want to get a
We went through hundreds of show reels, and he was about most consistent director that we show reel we saw. Really, it's as simple as that. We haven't actually seen the finished result yet because he does a lot of stuff in post-production. But the shooting went well and he was very pleased with it. But he didn't even want to show us stuff until it's finished because we won't get the right effect from it.
It's a very mysterious kind of video.
You've seen it? Well, if we can see it.
And that's of course.
I wouldn't be surprised,
It's his, when he first heard the song, he didn't have any lyrics or anything like that, and so again, he just picked up on the feeling and what it made him feel like, and so there's kind of a lot of driving around in his car, and it was cheaper. It was cheaper to use his car. It is like when you're driving around and you're having lots of, for me anyway, when I drive around, lots of thoughts come, and quite often you're driving for a long time and then you suddenly remember that you're driving and you're supposed to be looking at the road, and your imagination goes off, and so it's kind of like, it's about that.
There are a lot of different cult parties. What are you thinking about that?
Just like keg parties?
I think it's causing Marek Lieberberg more worried than us because he drives around Germany and he suddenly sees these posters up Depeche Mode. He thinks we're doing a concert without him knowing.
They have their own concerts without us, so I don't know. It's good.
Again, I think it's down to the fact that we're not played incessantly on the radio. We're not played incessantly. I think it's the only way they can really hear Depeche Mode music a lot by creating their own parties and things like that. I think it's to do with that.
Music has never really fit in with current trends. With things have come and gone over the 20 years, and we always seem to be sort of the oddball band. And I think a lot of radio and stuff do still have problems trying to fit us into their programs. Basically, what Fletcher said is true.
Well, here it's a bit different. I mean, a lot of radio stations do play it.
They do?
Yeah, so,
okay.
Especially on the Fisher.
Is it true that the DepecheMode.com webpage will rise at MEDA?
Will rise?
Yeah.
And how important is the internet for you?
Well, I think we sort of Fletcher answered that really. I think it is important. It's another way to let your fans know what you're doing and immediately. And there's nothing we can do. It's here. It's here, and you have to embrace it. And I think that's what people were doing.
I think as well, we're quite surprised to actually win the award because it's actually a good website. I think we've been guilty in the past of perhaps not giving enough time to it ourselves, which we've sort of put to right, I think, in the last 6 or 7 months. And of course it's very good for us because we are a band that's popular all over the world. And so it's all fans to communicate with each other everywhere. I think that's a good thing.
What can you say about your relationship to rock or K-rock radio in the United States? And would you play on an acoustic Christmas again, like 1989?
It's possible. Yeah, our relationship is very good with K-Rock. It is one of the stations that actually have supported us from day one. And they were playing our music in America way before anyone would even touch it. And in fact, I was there recently on the show there, and they played the song, played Dream On, and made sure I took it away with me afterwards. But no, they've been really supportive.
during all the years you went through quite a lot of problems. Would you say you are totally recovered from that? And what's the secret of still sticking together as a band?
You know, we've been through some stuff together and individually as well. And you know, in life you're always working on things. You know, it's about changing and trying to sort of learn from the mistakes or things that you've gone through. And I think we do that individually, and I think we do that as a band when we're making music too. You know, sometimes out of places of where you know you never imagined you would go. You grow too.
You're in Hamburg since Sunday. Did you do some sightseeing or things like that?
You're joking,
We saw a lot of hotel rooms and people like you.
You just had us entombed in this hotel.
Slave labour.
This is the first time we've actually been out of the hotel. Slave labour.
It's kind of like breaking rocks, you know.
And I'm interested in cities where you're doing concerts and things like that.
We are. I mean, we made a big effort on the last tour, again, which we hadn't done on previous tours because we mainly asleep most of the time. But we made an effort to actually go around and see the cities, and it was, you know, 20 years of touring. Sometimes you know all you see really is hotels and the venue, and the club, the bar, or whatever. But we made a big effort on the last tour to actually Helsinki wasn't very good. We did a guide of that lasted about 5 minutes. Nothing against Helsinki, of course.
Are you glad to come back on tour to Germany? And why are you especially here in Hamburg today and not in Munich or something else?
We don't like playing Munich.
No, but...
We love Hamburg, Esther. No, it's not up.
Alright, I'll rescue you.
I'm only joking.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to the tour, you know, and you know, we're keeping it as well to, you know, where there's a beginning and an end, and you know, we learned that with the singles tour and tours before that, you know, there's a point where, you know, you get lost in there, and you're just on like autopilot, and it's not a good thing, you know. So keeping it fresh is like not overdoing it too much, but we are doing a few shows in Germany, and no, Germany's always been really good to us, you know, and very supportive. And again, it's one of those places where we've had fans right from day one, so you know, it seems appropriate to do this here.
Questions?
On the story you about play some gigs in Kiev or for example or in Italian. Which was before.
We went to Italian last time, not here.
How Italian is it when you perform that?
It's very interesting playing Warsaw for the first time in long. I mean, we were one of the few bands that actually toured Eastern Europe and before the Cold War ended and stuff. And, that's one of the reasons we're very popular over there. And they're very interesting cities. We always like going to new places.
We played quite a few new places this time. The last time we made it to Estonia and Latvia, we didn't make it to Lithuania, we're getting there this time. We're going to Turkey for the first time. We're going to Greece for the second time. We only played there once in 1985, and it was a festival with lots of other bands. That would be the first time we're actually playing our own concert there. So there are new places for us to get to still.
After so many years, is the tour still a challenge for you, or is it business as usual? What are you looking forward to?
Performing is always a challenge. You know, it's always a challenge, especially when you've got new songs as well. You know, you have a few minutes with each song to just sort of do what you want to do with it, and you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it just is what it is, and I like that. I like that it's just, you know, you're giving it what you can in that moment.
It's very different, I think, from the record as well. Live, I think our songs always take on a different dimension. And you know, everything's very programmed in the studio. I mean, obviously there are some performances like the guitar and the vocals, but you know, we don't use live drummers generally. If we do, we'll go through on Pro Tools and put them dead in time generally. You know, but live it's a very different feeling.
Eine Frage noch haben. Do you already know who will support you tour this time?
No, we haven't as yet decided, but there's a few bands that we would like to. For instance, when we first started, we would like the Goldfrapp record, but I don't think that's going to work for various reasons. But not yet. We haven't decided.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You managed to maintain your success in America, and you're starting your tour now again in America. During these 20 years, many other British bands have failed to do so. How do you think you've succeeded in that?
Well, it's the same thing. We were one of the few bands that when we started, out of the bands that we sort of started with, if you like, that constantly toured. We always, we were playing gigs before we made any records, and we always did that. And I think, America particularly is a place where you have to go and play, despite all odds. And in the first 10 years of us playing there, we were always up against a lot of journalists and people sort of not really understanding where or what it was or where we were coming from musically and stuff, and it seemed like it was a bit of a threat, and over the years that's really changed. So I don't know, we've just again slowly built up a following and constantly made records and made music.
I think as well the great thing about Depeche Mode is got this, as people know, a huge fan base in America, particularly in Southern California. We've also got huge fan bases in places like Warsaw, Moscow, Asia, Africa, even India was selling quite a few records. We are really an international, truly an international band. Don't ask me how we did it. But we did it.
It's really strange as well. We've been to places, when we go to new places, where we barely have a record company or something as well. There's fans, We've been to new places before where we've played to like 5,000 people, and we barely have a sort of had records out there even as well. It's, who knows?
Do you plan to go to South America?
Not at the moment, no.
I think the idea is that the tour we don't want to make a mistake of in Songs of Faith Devotion of announcing a really, really long tour. We're enjoying ourselves at the moment. We want to continue to enjoy ourselves. Maybe at the end of this tour, everyone might have had such a good time that maybe next year, we might say we'll do some shows somewhere else. We're not going to get ourselves into a position that we got ourselves into in the past.
There's currently a kind of synthpop renaissance going on. How do you assess this development and being considered symbols of this kind of music? Is it a major advantage or more a disadvantage considering new developments that you're planning to realize?
What sort of renaissance?
My view is that over 20 years it's been this trend, that trend, this trend, that trend, this trend, and you have to just produce what you want to do yourself. Martin particularly is interested in a lot of this new electronic music. I don't think it's like this synthpop.
Slightly more oblique than that.
One more question.
One more question.
Mr. Gorn, you were on a concert with Britney Spears. And you said it was very exciting. What was exciting?
I went out with my two daughters. we were in the second row, and I found it quite interesting. There were bits where it got a little bit silly for me, but in general, I would have to say I enjoyed it. Maybe because I looked at it through my daughter's eyes.
On behalf of Depeche Mode, New Records, I would like to say thank you very much for attending this press conference and making it so lively, and we all look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you very much.
I think we'd like to give a big round of applause for Eric Lehman.
Yeah.
There's no time for hesitating. Pain is ready, pain is waiting. Right to do it's educating.
Jest Pia. To ma dzięki bardzo.
Also offiziell wurde niemand am Durchgang gehindert.
Wir sind hier schon angewohnt.
Nein.